Okay, questions?
Yeah, 12 changes in just a week and a 5-3 split on the bench. Can you explain your thinking about that, please?
Yeah, that thinking was done 3 weeks ago, prior to us getting onto the plane, even when we were in Jersey. And it's purely, we've been rotating the whole year. We're trying to, first of all, create depth, but quality and depth, and also caps experience, that if we get 2 or 3 injuries, all of a sudden that the third guy is not totally new to the system and knows our system. We're also trying to get versatile players who can cover more than one position. And then obviously, I think that I'm talking under correction here, but I think out of all the teams, England is the only team that does not have a 6-day turnaround. And our 6-day turnaround is in the England week. So for us to make sure we can handle their kicking game, which seems to be something that they really fall back on, and their rush defense, that will certainly have a heavy toll on our backs. That's where we went with a 5-3 split. And then hopefully our forwards are fresh from not playing all of them 80 minutes except even Etzebeth. So that was the thinking.
Thank you.
But Rassie, would you expect England to fall back to a more kick-heavy game like they did in the semi-final last year?
Yes, I do think sometimes one, and I'm not saying Steve will do it because he's, he's a man and he's a brave man and he knows what he wants and he's been successful playing a certain style. I'm talking about Leicester and other teams where he's been involved with and played with. And surely at Leicester, very much driven around pressure, physicality, kicking game, scraps around kicking game, and the defense system. When you lose 2 games, even if it's by a point or last minute try, the pressure do start to build. I've been there. I certainly know how quickly that can get to you. And then one normally falls back onto what works for you. I think they've been successful like that in the past. So we very much expect them to try and squeeze us with the kicking game.
Lloyd, and then over there.
Yes, obviously the name that stands out is Wilco Low. It's been a while, and just talk us through what he's been like in camp and what you're expecting from him, and maybe how he's developed since he was last year.
Yeah, I think again, if you look, what we're trying to do there is, without making the Springbok jersey cheap, we always know when a player plays there, hopefully he can not just be a 1 test match or a 2 test match. I know he's got 8 or 10 or something like that already. But if you look, France, is not a lighty anymore. He's not young anymore. We're really trying to prolong some guys' careers and see who can make it till the next World Cup, and by that we'll have to rotate. France is actually rotating now because he's got an injury. A guy like Trevor, we want him to get proper game time with the Sharks week in and week out before we look at him again. We know what we have in Vincent. We've now seen how well Thomas did last week, and we've got the opportunity now to see what Wilco have. And we don't think picking Wilco will, if we do lose this game, it will not be because of Wilco. He's come up leaps and bounds, and he's certainly a very good scrummer. And just like we didn't consider Jean Klein for this weekend because he just hasn't trained a lot with us, we didn't consider Wilco last weekend because he's now only been with us for 2.5 weeks. So we thought this would be the good game for him to get a chance.
England have struggled in the 4th quarter in a couple of their last matches. They lost it in the last couple of plays in the last couple of weeks. Can I ask what you put that down to? Have you seen any sort of threats between the
For me to comment on why other team doesn't finish in the last couple of minutes is difficult. Because I don't know their plans exactly and how they play and how they manage players, and I do know they've got a big management staff and a very scientific way of looking at things. But you look at New Zealand, they had a trend like that 4 or 5 matches ago, but they seem to turn that around and start winning matches in the last couple of minutes. I do know England play a really energy sapping game, which take a toll on us, our backline. but I think their rush defense also takes a toll on them. You know, rushing up 5 meters, rushing back 5 meters, rushing up 5 meters, rushing back 5 meters. That certainly puts us under pressure. But also, you know, if you can keep the ball, that will certainly tire them a little bit. But then again, we're also a team that have line speed. So it might be somewhere in there, but I can't say with conviction.
Rassie, how much of an advantage does it give a team when they have a 7-day preparation and the opposition has a 6-day preparation?
No, massive. It makes a massive role. The one basically have 2 training days in which you must put in all your departments, and you know that's why we already picked the backline for England the previous week. You know, the guys Jesse, Damien, Cheslin, Kirtley, Fussy, those guys. Last week Thursday, after they helped the guys prepared for Scotland, they turned their heads to England and they started analysing England and so on, just to try and be on par with England, because England would have had a 8-day turnaround, didn't they? No, 7-day turnaround, sorry. So yeah, you've got a training day less, and then if you do have a training day, the same amount of training days, you've got the recovery day less. So it's quite big.
Rassie,
Over there.
Yeah, just going to ask whether you went 5-3 for the World Cup semi-final as well. Is there something about English traits of playing that kind of caused you to do that specifically against them?
Yes, I've said it open, and I don't think England will change their game plan because of what I say here at this press conference. They tend to go to a hell of a kicking game, and everybody not everybody, it's well known in rugby circles that Steve expects those guys to run almost 80% of their max when they chase those kicks, and they put a hell of a lot of pressure on you, and if your backline don't have the ability to match that, you know, your forwards can't always get there. You do get cramps, you do get tiredness, and guy like Damien and Jesse and Cheslin wouldn't have played in the last 5 weeks, but they've kept fit, really fit, and that's the reason why we have Lucanio on there, and then also Andre as a cover. And also Kobus, who's mostly some of those guys. Andre has played for 80 minutes now. Kobus has been in the mix, you know, and then Grant has been in the mix. So yes, I think it's to try and match their speed and running ability.
Nick?
Rassie, what's it like as a coach being under pressure, the human side of it? Does it manifest itself into your decision making? Just like how does it affect a coach when you've not won for a couple of months? And secondly, what do you make of England's scrum?
No, look, we've been on that side. 2-3 years ago, we lost 3 on the trot when Jacques was the coach, and the next one was New Zealand that we played, and it was almost 4 on the trot, you know. And I think it depends on who's the men in the room and the women in the room and the management in the room, and who's your CEO and who's your board, and do they make you feel safe, or do they make you feel you've got a gun against your head? Do you make emotional decisions? I think when you can try and create the environment that, listen, let's be non-emotional and say, yes, the All Blacks, we almost got them, you know. Australia, last minute try, you know, if we just didn't sleep there and we're sharp there, you know, it could have been 2 wins. So if you're going to just do it emotionally and put pressure on those coaches there, it's not nice. It's not lacquer. You tend to make emotional decisions but I think Steve is too smart for that, and you start listening to what the media say, and where they're sometimes right, you try to please them a little bit, but I don't think he's that kind of man, and hopefully, you know, I don't know, hopefully, maybe we say the other way, but hopefully the environment around him is for him to still believe in what he's doing, and hopefully he'll get the win next weekend. The scrums, no. We sien Sia's terug as kaptein, en dan die agterlyn is omtrent heeltemal 'n nuwe agterlyn. Net Grant Williams bly in die agterlyn wat omtrent so is. En ja, dis maar die basiese redes. En wat verwag ons van hulle? Op Twickenham, 'n volgepakte Twickenham en desperate span wat baie trots is op hulle land en met 'n great support en 'n great atmosfeer op Twickenham en ons sal dit probeer match op die dag.